Hi, I'm Colton with Porsche Center Calgary, and I'm here today with one of our 2020 Macan S's. Now this one, we did a few things differently than we do with most of our Macan S inventory, and a few things I really like, so let's dive into it. Starting off as a Macan S, that means you've got the 3-liter V6 turbo motor, so you've got about 350 horsepower, so it's quite potent. This is a super popular car for us, if not our very most popular car. But as I said, this one's a bit different. So starting with the exterior, this is mahogany metallic, which is a color, in my opinion, we don't see nearly enough of. It's a really dark brown, as you can see, but depending on different lights, it has kind of a reddish hue to it. It's a really neat color that I like a lot. We sell a ton of black and white, which is great. The car looks great in those colors and it'll always sell well. But I do like this kind of earthier tone, and we've carried that over to the interior, which I'll get to. But I think it's great. Some other stuff that we've done outside. These wheels are the 20-inch Macan Turbo wheel, probably our most popular wheel. We did this one in the gloss black. That wheel you can do in a few different things. You can do either, the gloss black paint in the center there, or you can make it metallic black, or you can paint it the same color as the body. Several different options you can play around with, though that gloss black's the most popular. Some other stuff outside. The sport design side mirror. So the standard mirror is just kind of left on the lower portion as black unpainted plastic. Looks fine. It doesn't really draw the eye at all. But this way it's fully painted. You get that split spoke. It looks a little bit sportier, but it also just looks a little bit more complete. If you look at two cars side by side, you might not point out that difference, but it just lends itself overall to looking like a more complete package. We did a few things like that on this one, such as the painted side blade down here. So this little detail on the bottom is usually in what Porsche calls lava black, which is just kind of a matte black unpainted plastic, which can be a nice contrast on the right kind of overall build. But with this one, I think it made sense to do the painted so it blends in a little bit more with the body. And then down there, we also added the model designation painted in silver, which picks up obviously the silver in the wheels nicely, but also the silver around the window trim here, which we don't do very often. We do so much more common just the gloss black, which again looks great, but to do something different, I really like to see the silver. It pops, and with the other silver accents, it just looks really good. As well, the silver in the aluminum roof rails. Now those rails on the Macan are kind of important because you can't retrofit them. If they're not on the car from factory, you can't decide to add them later, so we do end up putting them on the majority of our cars. Moving around back, this one has, well, first of all, just the standard model designation, meaning that's silver as well. It says Macan Porsche and then Macan S in silver, continuing that theme. But we also did the trailer hitch back there. So the Macan can tow a fair amount at about 4,400 pounds, not too bad, though most people use it just for a bike rack. But either way, it's there, ready to go for you. A couple of other things you might notice outside. On the front, there's that big kind of round thing in the middle of the grille. That's the sensor for the adaptive cruise control. So all of our Macans will have regular cruise control as standard, but with the adaptive, then you can set your following distance from the car in front. As it slows down, the car automatically slows down for you to maintain that set gap. We're finding it's become more and more popular, so we put that in this one as well. And an upgrade to the parking cameras as well. So all the cars will have a rear view camera and sensors front and rear, but in this one we added the full surround view, so you get an additional camera up front and one underneath each side mirror, and they stitch those 4 images together to give you a top-down view so you can see all the way around the car. It makes parking it super easy. It's a feature I really appreciate. I like to have that. Moving now onto the inside. We did the two-tone black and Mojave beige with this one, which looks great against the mahogany outside. So with the two-tone, you get black on your upper dash, you get black on the steering wheel and on the carpet, all those kind of important areas that can get dirty if they're the lighter colors. But you get beige on the lower part of the dash, on the seats, and it just brightens up the cabin a little bit. I do like it, just as something a little bit different, right? The black interiors, again, look great. We sell a ton of them, but nice to see something a little bit different in this one. Some other content, the Premium Plus package. So I always recommend that, and I always say once you have that, you kind of have all of the must-have major features in the car. So things like the 14-way adjustable seat, adding the thigh extension and lumbar support, as well as seat memory and seat ventilation and heated seats in the back, and your panoramic sunroof, your Bose audio, Apple CarPlay, as well as a headlight upgrade to the dynamic headlights, so they'll turn with the steering wheel. You also get the comfort access, so you just touch the door handle to unlock it and turn the ignition switch inside without having to take your key out of your pocket. There's a ton of really nice things things in that package. So almost always we add that, which again, we did here. But we did a few other things that we don't always do, such as the Sport Chrono package, which is pretty cool. You've got a little mode switch on the steering wheel. You can switch over to Sport, Sport Plus, and individual modes. All the cars will have a Sport button regardless, but with the Sport Chrono package, you get that Sport Plus mode. So, you know, in Sport, you'll have sharper throttle response and later shift points and quicker shifts. Sport Plus just dials it up even more for a really kind of racy feeling response from the car. I really appreciate having it. Also, as part of that, inside that little switch, you have a button Porsche calls the Sport Response button. When you press that, you get a 20-second countdown clock that shows up on your display right next to your tachometer. And when that's active, it's holding the back pressure in the turbos and just kind of making all the power available to you right now with no delay. It's like a push-to-pass button, which again is really cool. All part of that Sport Chrono package. As well, we added a different trim to this one. So the standard trim on a Macan S inside is just gloss black, which again looks good. Can't really go wrong with it. But going with this more kind of earthy feel of this car, we did the walnut trim in there, which I think looks really cool and just makes it feel a little bit more unique. In addition to that, just making sure I haven't missed anything for you. Yeah, the lane keep assist. So lane change assist is blind spot warning. We put that in almost everything. But in this one we added the lane keep. So what that'll do is when you start to leave your lane, the car warns you of that, right? It makes a noise to just let you know you're kind of leaving your lane a little bit. With the lane keep, it'll actually tug the steering wheel to put you back in your lane, which can be pretty helpful in the right scenario. Now, if you find that's too intrusive, you can also always disengage it. You don't have to have it on, but it's one of those things when you find it active, you only need to be glad it happened once to be pretty thankful you've got the option, right? So that pretty well sums up the options on this car. As I said, it's one I really like and a little bit unique. A few different things than we put in most of our cars. So I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, come down, see it in person. We'd be happy to take you for a drive. But if not, keep scrolling. We've got a ton of other inventory and videos to check out. So if you do find the right one, give us a call or pay us a visit. Thanks a lot for watching.